So my next topic is related to agriculture. Okay, so this topic is quite lengthy, but we'll discuss here first fertilizer sector in India, and after then phosphorus sector, minor irrigation sector, and Bharat Beej Sahkari Samiti, seed certification, food storage in India, and managing the food inflation in India, and aqua culture sector, and after then inland fishery, credit guarantee scheme for the livestock sector, that is very important. National Turmeric Board, new board is created. National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, which is providing the soft loan to the agriculture sector. Indian Council for Agriculture Research, ICAR, which is for research and development. Okay, so these some parameters we are going to discuss here. So first of all, in agriculture sector, we are starting with agriculture and fertilizer in India. Okay, so coming on the agriculture sector, yeah, this is the agriculture. So first of all, we'll discuss about the fertilizer sector. So recently, Cabinet Committee of the Economic Affair. This is economic affair of the cabinet committee, and this is approved the unique package for innovative scheme for farmer with total outlay of 3.70 lakh crore. PM program for restoration awareness generation, that is PM Pranam scheme, which is very important. PM Pranam. PM Pranam is announced in the budget 23 and 24 to incentivize the UT to promote the alternate fertilizer and balanced use of the chemical fertilizer. So PM Pranam scheme, which is using for the balanced use of fertilizers. Okay, fertilizers. And the next scheme is market development assistant for promoting organic fertilizer. So for the organic fertilization, that is galvanizing organic bio agro resources like biodhan plants. Govardhan is also launched in 2018, and that is in 2018. That is for the Swachh Bharat Mission, under the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. It is under the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Okay, that is Govardhan, and this is the impact village cleanliness and generate wealth energy from cattle and organic waste. So we are converting this cattle and organic waste into the wealth and energy. So that is Govardhan scheme. This was launched in 2018. Next is introduction of sulfur coated urea, that is urea gold. If we are coating sulfur in the urea, that will known as the urea gold, and this is to address the sulfur deficiency in the uh, soil. Next is urea gold to more economically and efficient. This is urea gold is more economical and efficient than neem coated urea. So sulfur coated urea is the very efficient rather than the neem coated urea. Neem coated is not that much efficient. Urea subsidy is also provided in 2025, and that is maximizing the indigenous production of the urea and self sufficiency by 2025. So self sufficiency in the urea by 2025. Okay, India is the second largest in the consuming after China. So China is the first largest consuming in the fertilizer, third largest in the producing. We are producer of the fertilizer in the third largest, and amongst world largest importer of fertilizer material, and we are the importer, first largest importer of the fertilizer. Okay, and consumption में second largest. It is one of the 8 core industry, and this is also included in the 8 core industries. You know about the 8 core industries: coal, steel, crude oil, and electricity, and these like kind of 8 core industries. In this, fertilizer is also there. Weightage of fertilizer is less actually. 2/3 of the urea, that is 2/3, that is urea. Potash is the major requirement met through the imports. So potash, we import potash. Basically, we import the potash. Secondly, under micronutrients, so primary fertilizers type of nutrient, they supply to the soil such as the nitrogenous, phosphoric, ammonium phosphate, and potassic fertilizer. सेकेंडरी फर्टिलाइजर में हमारे हैं कैल्शियम, मैग्नीशियम, सल्फर, एंड माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट में आता है आयरन, जिंक, boron and chloride. Okay, iron, zinc, boron and chloride, that is in the micronutrient. एंड जो कैल्शियम मैग्नीशियम और सल्फर जो आते हैं दैट इज इन द सेकेंडरी. कैल्शियम मैग्नीशियम सल्फर जो आते हैं दैट इज इन सेकेंडरी. और प्राइमरी में तो एनपीके फिक्स है, नाइट्रोजीनियस, फॉस्फोरस एंड द पोटेशियम. ओके, एंड वहां पर आ जाएंगे कैल्शियम मैग्नीशियम एंड सल्फर. सो कैल्शियम मैग्नीशियम एंड सल्फर इन द सेकेंडरी फर्टिलाइजर. एंड जो माइक्रो फर्टिलाइजर्स होते हैं उसमें आयरन, जिंक, बोरोन और क्लोराइड आते हैं. आयरन, जिंक, बोरोन एंड क्लोराइड. ओके, नाउ फास्फोरस सेक्टर. नेक्स्ट वन इज ए फास्फोरस सेक्टर. So several survey किए गए हैं जिसमें indicate that India is facing deficiency in the phosphorus. So we have the deficiency in the phosphorus. Okay. So way to reduce the phosphorus porosity. First, to reduce use of chemical fertilizer, we can go through the precision agriculture. Adoption of the low input agroecological approaches. So low input approaches we can adopt, and the mining urban sewage to produce the phosphorus. So we can mine the urban sewage to produce the phosphorus. Okay, so first, India is the world largest importer of the phosphorus. We are the largest importer of the phosphorus. Okay, and most of the from cadmium laden deposit of West Africa. आता कहाँ से? West Africa से आता है, cadmium laden होता है. And phosphorus rocks are majorly produced only from the two states. Like first is the Rajasthan, second one is the MP. These two states only who produce the phosphorus fertilizers and phosphorus kind of rocks. Some deposits are also present in the central part like Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, that is also in Lalitpur of the Uttar Pradesh, and Masuri and Syncline and Kaddappa basin, that is in the Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now the concern with the phosphoric availability, that is phosphorus coexist the cadmium, and metal whose removal is expensive. Handful countries such as the Morocco, West Sahara, China, Algeria, this is most of the reserve of the phosphorus. And harmful effect of the phosphorus low directly to water bodies, like loss directly to the water body. So if we are using phosphorus, it will lost directly in the water bodies like sewage, runoff of the sewage. Okay, and growth of toxic algal bloom. If we are using phosphorus, that means there can be algal blooms of the. And the next is cadmium laden fertilizers that is applied to the soil and absorbed by the crops and accelerating heart disease, and it can be accelerate the heart disease, and it can grow of the algal bloom. Okay, now next topic is minor irrigation. So Ministry of Jal Shakti, and that is releasing the sixth census of the report minor irrigation. The first census conducted with the reference of 1986, released by 1993 में ये published हो गई थी. Okay, so classification irrigation project in India are classified three. First is the major irrigation, then medium irrigation, and last one is the minor irrigation. Okay, and who is releasing? That is Ministry of Jal Shakti. क्लासिफिकेशन हो गया. देन मेजर इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट में आएगा 10,000 हेक्टेयर के जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं. कल्टिवेबल कमांड एरियाज दैट इज फिजिकली इरिगेटेड फ्रॉम स्कीम्स फिट फॉर कल्टिवेशन. मीडियम इरिगेशन में आता है लेस देन 10,000 हेक्टेयर और 2,000 हेक्टेयर के बिटवीन में आता है जो. एंड माइनर इरिगेशन जो लेस देन 2,000 हेक्टेयर के अंदर जो आता है. दैट इज सोर्सेज. माइनर इरिगेशन प्रोजेक्ट हैव बोथ सरफेस एंड ग्राउंड वाटर. So they can be in surface, they can be in the groundwater. Major medium project mostly exploit surface water, and they can exploit the surface water. Minor irrigation sector is a whole implemented by the state government, and that implemented by the state government, and the state have state specific schemes also. Category of the minor irrigation scheme: groundwater scheme, that is borewell, shallow tubes, medium tubes well, and deep tube well. These are the groundwater. And the surface flow में आता है consists of the tank and conservation cum groundwater recharge. Okay, so there is a tanks also. Now there is a rationalization of the minor irrigation statistics. The centrally sponsored plan. This is the centrally and sponsored plan, that is the minor irrigation. Okay, it included in 1987, and later it became a part of central sector plan scheme development of water resource information system. And the main objective is to build a comprehensive reliable database in the minor irrigation sector. Okay, that is the development of water resource information system, and it is a centrally sponsored scheme, that is rationalizing of minor irrigation. Highlight report first census of the water body, that was in the 6 minor irrigation scheme, that was 2017 and 18. That was the first census of the water body, and it was minor irrigation and scheme, that was a 6th report. Okay, so it objected develop the national database all water body. Minor irrigation scheme of India was reported in 690 district of the country, and 94% of the irrigation scheme groundwater based, and 5.2% that is based on the surface water. So this scheme is based on basically in the groundwater. Okay, Uttar Pradesh poses the largest number of the minor irrigation projects. UP, then Maharashtra is second, and then will be Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so UP is the one number. Dug well has been highest scheme, followed by the shallow well. So there is a dug well, then will be the shallow well, and then will be the tube well. Okay, tube well. So now next is ownership of the minor irrigation is 96%, that is privately owned. So private projects are there, and 3.4 only the public. Individually owned 18% by the women. Women are owned the 18%, and the usage of the scheme 97% scheme is in use. Okay. Now next topic is Bharatiya Bij Sahakari Samiti. So this Samiti established 2023, that is certified and the scientifically prepared seeds होते हैं, established under the Multi-State Cooperative Society Act 2002, and traditional seed that is have a conserve and pass on to the coming generation, grain, fruit and vegetables. So Indian Farmer Fertilization Corporation IFCO, Krashak Bharatiya Corporation, and National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing NAFED, National Dairy Corporation, and National Corporation of Development Corporation. So this is the playing a key role ensuring the welfare of the farmer. This is ensuring the welfare of the farmer, and that is Bharatiya Bij Sahakari Samiti. Seed certification. So Ministry of Agriculture and the Farmer Welfare, that is launching the Sathi scheme, that is seeds traceability authentication holistic inventory portal. This is a portal for the seed certification. Name is a Sathi. Name is seed traceability authentication holistic inventory. Centralized online system that is designed to deal with the challenges of seed production, quality identification and certification. Seed authenticity is traced through the QR code. There is a QR code. Okay, and this portal has been developed by the National Information Center in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. Uttam Beej Samriddhi Kisan. Uttam Beej and Samriddhi Kisan seed are the valid certification for sold by the valid licensed dealer, and this is centrally registered by the farmer. So unpredictability will be reduced. Short shelf life will be increase of the seeds after certification, and lack of effective monitoring. So we are going to improve the monitoring. Lack of access to the certified seeds. So we are going to make the infrastructure gap should be reduced. So that's why these all issues are with the seeds, and we are just curtailing these issues. So legal status of the seed certification is given by the enactment of the Seed Act. So Seed Act was came in the 1966. Okay, and seed certification voluntary, but labeling the compulsory. So labeling is compulsory. Okay, labeling is very compulsory, and India established the Protection of the Plant Variety and Farmer Act, that was authority ensure the availability of quality seed for the planting material to the farmer. Now next topic is related to the food storage. Food storage in India. So the Union Government has approved the constitution empowerment of the Interministerial Committee, which is for the facilitation world largest grain storage for the cooperative sector. And this aim to strengthening food security, reducing the wastage, empowering the farmer by go down and the agriculture infrastructure at a primary agriculture credit society. So there are the primary and agri credit society, agri and credit societies. Okay, societies, and these societies are encouraging the farmer to improve the food security, reducing wastage and empowering the farmer. So PACs are the village level cooperative credit society. These are the village level societies and linked to the three-tier cooperative credit headed by the state cooperative bank. Okay, this is headed by the state level, state cooperative and banks. So food societies are under the state cooperative credit society. PACs involve the short-term lending, and they lend to the short-term lending, or what is known as a crop loans, and they give the crop loans. Okay, implementation to ensure the timely uniform implementation. Ministry of Cooperation would implement the pilot projects. Okay, in the 10 district. Convergence of the several schemes are also there. Now scheme identified for the convergence. Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, that is Agri Infra Fund, Agri Marketing Infra Fund, Mission Integrated Development Horticulture, Submission Agri Mechanization. These missions are under the Ministry of Agri and Farmer Welfare. Ministry of Food Processing Industry, Pradhan Mantri formalized micro food processing, and Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So one is the Kisan Sampada Yojana. Sampada Yojana, that is under the Ministry of Food Processing, and micro food processing units are again under the Ministry of Food Processing. So Sampada is also in the Ministry of Food Processing. Ministry of Consumer Affairs and the Food Public Distribution, that is allocation of food grain under the National Food Security Act, that is under the Consumer Affairs. Procurement of the minimum support price (MSP) is also under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Okay, now food grains management in India. Total production. So India has been producing 310 million ton food grains in the 2 years. Okay, and centralized procurement system, we have FCI, and FCI is directly a state government under agency which is hand over the stock of FCI. So that is centrally procurement system. Central pool is undertaken in the FCI, and decentralized procurement system, that was in 1997. Food grain are produced and distributed in the state government themselves, that is decentralized in the state government. Distribution of the food grain, central government, so the FCI has assumed to responsibility for procurement, storage, transportation of the allocation of the food to the state government, that is central government is doing this. The operational responsibility including allocation, identification, issue of the ration card, and supervision of the fair price shop, that is under the state government. So what state government is doing? State government is doing first allocating the food grains, state identification karna of the families, and ration card issuing karna, and other than that there's a supervising the functioning of the fair price shop, that is under the state government. Okay, so you can see this diagram, sustain increased food grain production in India. So in 2014 it was 251 million ton. Now in 16 to 75, presently 315 million ton. So 315, and it is in million ton. Million ton food grains are there presently, 315 million ton. And that data is 2021 and 22. Okay. So before that it was 210, and presently it is 315. And we have oilseeds, pulses, and total food grain. Managing the food inflation in India. You know, presently food inflation is a very big concern for our economy. So, Indian Council of the Research in the International Economical Relationship (ICRIER) has established measures to curb the inflation, including banning the cereal export has cost farmer at least 45,000 crore rupees का जो cereal है, that is exporting by the farmers. So now we are banning the cereal export, that is cost the 45,000 crore rupees, and that is Council of Research and International Economical Relation estimated the measure curb the inflation. How we will curb the inflation? If we are banning the cereal export. Okay, to curb the food inflation, government imposed a restriction on the trade of food commodities and export, and boost the supply which have a dented farmer income. Okay, release the government own stock of the grains at the substantially lower price. So market rates also resulted potential loss of additional 548 quintal of the farmer, that is in the potential loss. Inflation, how we measure the inflation? First is WPI. So WPI is a measure the inflation at the wholesale level, while the consumer price index, that is calculated inflation as a retail level. WPI consider the price change in the goods only, and the CPI changes the goods and services both. WPI gives the more weightage to the manufacturing goods, whereas the CPI give more weightage to the food item. So CPI always talk about the food item, and the WPI talks about the manufacturing item. And WPI released by the economical advisor in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That is Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Ministry of Commerce and Industry and National Statistical Office NSO and the MOSPI, Ministry of Statistical Program Implementation, that is launching the All India Consumer Price Index. So Consumer Price Index launched by the MOSPI, Ministry of the Statistical and Program Implementation, and WPI released by the economical advisor in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, that is the Mickey. Mickey, you can say, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, that is launching the WPI Mickey. Okay, All India Consumer Price Index Group, that is miscellaneous are 28%, हाउसिंग को हमने 10% दिया है, एंड फ्यूल एंड लाइट्स को दिया है 6%, एंड क्लोथिंग को हमने दिया है 6.5%, एंड पान, टोबैको एंड टॉक्सिकेंट्स को 2.5%, एंड फूड एंड बीवरेज जो है हमारा 45.9% का है. तो जो कंज्यूमर प्राइस इंडेक्स है इसमें जो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स है, तो सबसे ज्यादा फूड एंड बीवरेज को इसने वेटेज दिया है, दैट इज 45%। पान टोबैको जितने भी इंटॉक्सिकेंट है उसको 2.54% वेटेज दिया है। क्लोथिंग एंड द फुटवेयर्स को 6.5% का हमने दिया है वेटेज। फ्यूल को दिया है 6.8%, मोर देन क्लोथिंग दिस इज फ्यूल, दैट इज 6.8%, एंड हाउसिंग इज 10.2%। ओके, so food inflation in India, that is retail inflation, it is 6.83%, and food inflation is 9.2%. See, I was talking about this कि 2020-23 में फूड इन्फ्लेशन जो है 9.2% है, जबकि रिटेल इन्फ्लेशन 6.83% है। दैट इज द बिग कंसर्न फॉर द इंडियन इकोनॉमी। Major contribution to the current food inflation include the tomato, onion, and cereals. Wheat inflation is due to the domestic and global factor like heat waves, unseasonal rain, and the Russia-Ukraine war. So wheat inflation is because of the Russia-Ukraine war, unseasonal rains, and the heat wave. Factor affecting India for the food inflation in the long term. First is the monsoon variability. Second is global commodity prices are like crude oil prices are increasing day by day. Government policies like MSP policy. MSP is for the free food grains for the low income groups. So that is also minimum support price is providing for the farmer. That is also affecting the food inflation. Infrastructure barriers are there like storage, distribution system, and exchange and rate fluctuations are also there. So exchange rate fluctuations is also very big factor for the agri trades and the agri prices. Outbreak of the pest and the disease also the major concern for the food inflation. Now, what are the mechanism for the price monitoring and control? So, first is price monitoring division is built up. That is price monitoring division, Department of Consumer Affairs, monitoring the price selected essential commodity. So, this is under the Department of the Consumer Affairs. Department of the Consumer Affairs price monitoring schemes. It analyzes the price situation, advance feedback for the taking the measures. It implement the commodity specific market intervention scheme, and the central targets are the 750 and to monitor the 620 two essential food grain commodities. Okay, so we are measuring 22 essential food grain commodities, and there's a 750 PMC, and that is price monitoring division that are 750, and we are like monitoring the 22 essential food grain items. What kinds of the food grain items are there? First is rice, wheat and atta, that is in the food grain. पल्सेस में आएगा ग्राम, तूर, उड़द, मूंग एंड मसूर। सो 2M है और बाकी ग्राम, तूर एंड उड़द है। एडिबल ऑयल में है ग्राउंडनट ऑयल, मस्टर्ड ऑयल, वनस्पति ऑयल, सोया ऑयल, सनफ्लावर एंड पाम ऑयल। सो यहाँ पर भी देख लीजिए सोया एंड सनफ्लावर 2S है, बाकी ग्राउंडनट ऑयल है, मस्टर्ड ऑयल है, वनस्पति एंड पाम ऑयल है। वेजिटेबल में है पोटैटो, ओनियन, टोमेटो, वेरी इजी, एंड टॉप स्कीम भी आती है इसके लिए, ठीक है। अदर आइटम्स में शुगर है, गुड़ है, मिल्क है, टी है, साल्ट भी है, ठीक है। साल्ट भी है एसेंशियल कमोडिटी में। ओके, शुगर, गुड़, मिल्क तो सब जानते ही हैं, टी भी जानते हैं, बट साल्ट भी इंक्लूडेड है। Essential Commodity Act, that is in 1955, and it empowered the central government to control production, supply, distribution, trade, commerce in the certain commodity. That is the Essential Commodity Act. That can be imposed stock limit on the essential commodity to regulate the price availability in the market. Other measures manage the food inflation. First is Operation Green. Operation Green, it is launched to the lines of Operation Flood and to promote the Farmer Produce Organization (FPO) and facilitate the price stabilization, market intelligence in the localized. Price stabilization fund भी बनाएंगे, regulate the price volatility and the procurement of the selected produce, maintain the buffer stock and regulate the buffer stock. Export restrictions in the minimum export price are also there, and direct support to the farmer, that is subsidies and the income support, and supply side measures also taken like agriculture productivity, promoting the diversification. So these are the measures taken by the manage the food inflation. First is the Operation Green, that is for the FPOs and the processing facility for the price stabilization, market intelligence, and that is the in line of the Operation Flood, that there is the Operation Green. Second is the price stabilization fund. Third is export restrictions are there for the minimum support price, minimum export price, direct support to the farmers like subsidies and direct support MSP, supply side measures like productivity ko badana and promotion of the diversification. Next one is the aqua sector. So see, aqua sector में Parliament has enacted the Coastal Aquaculture Authority Act, that was in 2023, and this act amend the certain provision of the Coastal Aquaculture Authority, that was 2005. So first is inland capture of the fish production. We are first in the inland capturing of the fish. Yeah. सेकेंड एक्वाकल्चर फिश प्रोडक्शन, वी आर सेकेंड इन द फिश प्रोडक्शन. प्रोडक्शन में हमारा सेकेंड रैंक है, बट कैप्चरिंग लाइक प्रोडक्शन इनलैंड के अंदर हमारा फर्स्ट रैंक है, एंड एक्वाकल्चर के अंदर सेकंड रैंक है, एंड ओवरऑल फिश में हमारा थर्ड रैंक है. एंड फोर्थ एक्सपोर्टर है हम फिश के, फिशरी प्रोडक्ट्स के हम फोर्थ नंबर के एक्सपोर्टर है. वी आर द फोर्थ लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्टर ऑफ द फिशरी आइटम्स. In 2005, established the Coastal Aquaculture Authority. There is a Coastal Aquaculture Authority to regulate the coastal aquaculture. It aimed to promote the ease of doing business and fine tuning with the operational procedures also. So, what is the aquaculture? So, it is the farming fish, seaweeds, and other aquatic species. Submerged cages and the net pins. Submerged cages, net pins are used for the finfish in the ocean. Lines are used to farm seaweeds and the मसल्स और सीन. बॉटम कल्चर में आता है लाइन्स, ट्रे एंड बेक्स, एंड इट इज यूज फॉर द सीवीड्स एंड द बीवरेज लाइक ऑयस्टर्स, shallow coastal areas. These are also bottom culture में आएगा. Next is the ponds and tanks. So these are ponds and tanks are used to the farm fish, finfish and shrimp on the land or the coastal or fresh water. So shrimp जो मिलता है हमें, that is in the ponds and tanks. And bottom culture में oysters, and in shallow coastal areas में oyster, bivalves and the seaweeds. We can found the seaweeds, bivalves and the oysters in the bottom culture. And lines जो हैं यहाँ पर, lines are used to the farm seaweed like the bivalves and the mussels and in ocean. Submerged cage होते हैं, net pins होते हैं, cage and net pins. They are submerged cages and the net pins are used for farm finfish in the ocean. So there is a finfish in the ocean with the submerged cages and net pins. Key provision of the Act is coastal aquaculture. The Act defines the coastal aquaculture as a rearing, cultivation, any life of stage of fish, aquatic life under the control condition, and saline or brackish water in the coastal area. So we just use the aquaculture as a control condition. It also includes the activities such as the production, bloodstock, seed, grow out, but not included the freshwater aquaculture. So under this act, freshwater aquaculture yet not been included, and it's good for the global climate. It expands the scope of the act beyond the coastal aquaculture farms to cover the all verticals and activities of coastal aquaculture for the sustainable development. And regulation of the allied coastal aquaculture activities, like coastal aquaculture activities are the no development zones, coastal regulation zones, ecological sensitivity area also covered in this. Some allied activities like seaweed culture, nucleus breeding, and some areas are exempted also. Change to the Coastal Aqua Authority composition. The Act added the representative of Ministry of Fishery and Animal Husbandry and Dairying. Increased the Act, enhanced the scope for the regulations and facilities. Expanded the functions also. There is an authority for the aquaculture input monitoring and the units. Decriminalization is also there. The Act removed the imprisonment provision for its contravention and replaced them with the suitable monetary and other penalties. So decriminalization of the act is also there, and adjudication and appeals will be there. Under the act, central government may authorize an officer at least under the secretary level. So officer will be at least under the secretary level, who will educate the penalties also. Okay, so this is all about the fishery and aquaculture. Now inland fishery. So India has recently overtaken the China and become the largest contributor to the inland fishery, and emerging as one of the top 3 fish producing country in the world. Okay, so now inland fishery is the harvesting, management, conserving the fish generally under the river, lake and reservoir and pond. The main two method, the capture fishery and the culture fishery. Capture fishery, obtaining the fish directly from the lake, river, ponds with the help of the fishing gears and nets. Oh, that is known as the capture fishery. Capture fishery. Okay, and the culture fishery, raising and harvesting fish in the control environment. So we are harvesting the fish in the control environment, and with the tool of breeding or the feed management. There is a breeding and the tool with the feed management. And that is culture fishery. So you see, in the inland fishery, we are growing day by day, and marine production is like this. Okay, so this is India fish production has doubled in the past 9 years to 131 lakh tons. Presently 131 lakh and tons, and this is doubled. This is doubled past 9 year. तो 9 year के अंदर क्या हुआ है? This is doubled. This is doubled in the 9 year. This is important for the prelims. So types of the inland fishery में है tank and pond की fishery, then cold water fishery, that is promote the omega pickish trout in the Himalaya state, cage culture and reservoir fishery, promoting the fishery in the small medium reservoir, brackish water in the saline aquaculture fishery, that is shrimp and aquaculture and the transforming wasteland to the wetlands, and ornamental fishery, that is India has a diverse variety of fishes, and riverine fishery, that is river ranching can be used for the conservation of the indigenous fishery. Now next topic is related to the livestock sector, and I will cover it in the next video.